Hi all, and hello everyone, and welcome to the sixth annual Humanitarian OpenStreetMap Summit. We are really exciting to having you here, and we are absolutely thrilled to see some familiar faces here and every one of you that joining with us today. And we also sure that this will be a really incredible summit. And in fact, this is our highest attended summit ever, and we are ecstatic. And so many people for all over the globe are able to join us today in the very first block in Asia and Oceania block. And also, uh, uh, we will be collaborate one to another, and we will like to know where all the participants come from. So that's why we created the Menti pool. So if you like, you can visit menti.com and just input the Menti code for our pool. The number is 9301417. There will be people who maybe can help you to write it down in the chat box, or thumbs up if someone has already added your country. And also for today's in Asia blogs, we have an incredible line of speakers for you today, including our first keynote speakers, Rosny Venkatesh from Accenture. But before diving into the program, there's a few quick housekeeping notes for all of you. So we also wanted to shout out our amazing sponsors for this year of Hot Summit. We have Esri, Facebook, Mapbox, and Critigan. We're so grateful for their continuous support and commitment to the humanitarian mapping community. So this is a very huge thanks to them. Speaking of our wonderful sponsor, we also have another surprise for all of you. We are absolutely thrilled to announce that Hot and Esri are partnering up for over a grant of 5,000 plus one spot to attend and present at the 2021 Hot Summit, whenever that will be. And this grant and spot next year will be awarded to an OSM community that meets the criteria listed on the screen, and including contributing directly to the community lead, and also open data for humanitarian response and fostering recruitment, engagement, and retention of volunteer application for the grant. And the grant itself is open through January 4th to any OSM community that fits those criteria that I mentioned before, and attends at least only one session, at least one session of the summit today. So make sure you attend one of the session. In fact, you should attend all the session that we provided to you. And just as you are doing now, and for information, if you want to more detailed information about this macro grant, you can see the Wikipedia link that appear on the slides. And finally, some quick reminders. Please do tweet or creating a Facebook post or Instagram using your photos, videos, reaction using the hashtag Hot Summit. And this is also a note for all of you that we have a really jam-packed program for you today. There's a lot of interesting talks today, and haven't scheduled any breaks between talks. So please do feel free to get up, grab a snacks, drink a coffee or tea, and just make sure you don't get the Zoom fatigue. You can sitting on the couch, lying on the bed, whatever position that you're comfortable. So also, this is information, a reminder for you. This summit will be recorded, and you can always review the talks that you should want to see. And for those people who want to participating in our Goose Chase virtual scavenger hunt. So this is a game, interesting game that provided by Hot. Remember, today is the final day to get all of your submission, and the winner will be announced via social media following the summit itself. This game, it's like a fun and interactive games for the community, and now it's become competitive. So if you're a competitive person, please do complete your submission. And finally, should you have any question, concern, please don't hesitate to reach us via private message here on the Zoom platform, or you can also email us at summit@hotosm.org. All right. So before I introducing our keynote speaker, a note that you have a question for the speakers today, please drop them in the chat. Those questions will shared with the speaker today by one of our volunteers via Google Doc, and time permitting, they will be answered. Okay, without further ado, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Rosny Venkatesh. She is a member of the Global Corporate Citizenship team at Accenture. She works with a diverse set of partners, including global development organization, as well as Accenture client and the tech ecosystem partner, to tackle pressing development challenges around the world. Prior to this role, Rosny held core business consulting roles with various employers, assisting various private companies and government body in India and elsewhere. So please, Rosny, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Harry, thanks so much. I hope everyone can see me well. Firstly, thanks so much to the team. It's an honor to be here. I'm a big fan of the work that the team does, and it's great to be kind of opening this session today in the virtual summit. I believe 800 people are listening in. So hello from sunny Singapore. I hope technology stays with me and is my friend today. So in terms of, when we were talking about what this session might do, what the theme of what I would like to kind of share here is that how, what's been our experience and kind of, taking our 500,000 people, their passion, their ingenuity, their skills, and to be able to sort of, be a force for good, and to be able to kind of partner with various organizations and to bring that to life and to narrow inequality and inequity all over the world. So if at the end of the session, I leave you a bit inspired, a bit more inspired than what you are right now, I think that would be my job done. So on the next slide, I wanted to kind of, I'm proud to share, our Julie Sweets, who is our CEO, her kind of, message to everybody, which is, and this is really true because I've been in Accenture for a really long time. And one thing that really struck me when I joined the team was just how involved and engaged our employees are in not just the work that they do, but bringing all of that to bear in the communities around. And I think that's just kind of grown. And over the last, pandemic year, it's kind of accelerated even more. So Julie Sweet announced our purpose, and I'm proud to kind of, share it now. It's to deliver on the promise of technology and human ingenuity. And I think this year, especially more than any time before, it's never been more important to combine the human ingenuity and the power of technology so that we can create, solutions that drive a positive impact in the world. And new technology is, it provides optimism, it paves the way for innovation, but at the same time, we need to be really responsible about how we innovate and how do we create solutions. And our kind of entire focus is to make sure that anything that we develop, whether for our clients, our partners, our suppliers, we understand the implications on, human, societal, and environmental impact. So how we think about this impact is important, and that's the important thing is that it needs to be inclusive, and we need to make sure that the communities that we live in are not left behind. So we don't leave anybody behind, and we carry everybody forward so that we are preparing our communities to thrive in the future, which is uncertain at this point. But hopefully, if we have made things a bit more resilient for them, I think we would have gone a long way in equipping them to deal with what's to come. So that brings me to my favorite slide in this presentation, which is really celebrating the partnership that we have with the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team. So leaving no one behind, like I said earlier, and this is what I think the partnership embodies, and this is what the partnership is based on, which is the basic tenet of equity and equality. And we are so proud that we can, further the vision by, working together with our really passionate volunteers who have been engaged since the last, 6 years or so. If we could skip to the slide after this, that'll be great. Yes, and these are smiley people, and then the next slide. Yeah, so it's been fantastic 6 years of partnership. I remember even now, the first time I, came across the organization, and I was like, oh, wow, this is really cool work, and we can get involved. And with our huge employee base, it is always difficult to have an engagement opportunity at scale where we can engage many people around the globe. And I mean, it's been exciting because I think humanitarian OpenStreetMap has been that valued partner who brings that consistently. So pre-pandemic, you have these photographs of people sitting together and mapping, which is very exciting. But then, very interestingly, in this year, in fact, we've run a global mapathon for International Women's Day, where everybody was mapping from home. And it's just amazing that we have been able to, therefore, kind of do virtual volunteering at scale. And it's never happened before. It's unprecedented. So, the initiative, I think, is across 33 countries and counting. And we just kind of continue to look to this partnership to offer this kind of value and harness our people's kind of passion and purpose as we move forward, pre-pandemic and now post-pandemic. Having celebrated our partnership, I want to move now to something that's very core to our own workplace and our own way of how we look at various aspects of inclusion. So if we move to the next slide. So inclusion takes on various hues, right? So it's about fostering gender equality and parity. It's about creating a conducive atmosphere in which workforce diversity can thrive. It's about propagating a culture of zero tolerance towards racism or any kind of discrimination. And it's also about making all of our solutions inclusive by design. And of course, there is so much more to this. Today, just after we've celebrated, the International Day of Persons with Disabilities yesterday, I'm really happy to talk to you about, what we do in terms of accessibility. It's a very important design principle at Accenture for any solution that we create, technology empowered or otherwise. And whether it's for our people or for our communities, it is just really important, and it's baked into the culture of the way we sort of conduct ourselves with our clients, with our partners, and even with our own sort of employees. Now, of course, as you all know, that the pandemic has had disproportionate impact on those who were already vulnerable. So, and people with disabilities are no exception. In fact, they are probably one of the worst hit in the world today. Their participation was anyway kind of quite minuscule and dismal in the workplace. About, I think, 60% of persons with disabilities are of working age globally, but only 20% or so currently actually participates in the workforce. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we are creating a welcoming place, making sure that our people are welcoming, and we influence the culture to be really all-inclusive. So who does all of this fantastic work? So it's our Accessibility Center of Excellence team. And the lead of this team is who said this really powerful quote saying that we're all just temporarily abled. So, when we think about creating solutions, sorry, that's my Jabra talking. The key thing here is that we are all just temporarily able. So this is not about creating specific solutions that are supposed to be only for people with disabilities. It's about creating solutions which are inclusive just by the way they are designed. So, our technology North Star, if we go to the next visual, which actually sort of looks at how we look at accessible design. So one is that, we believe that technology should be used and has the potential to bridge that digital divide for people with disabilities, just like with everybody that we're seeing now in this post-pandemic world, including kids who used to probably go to school and now can't. If we embrace accessibility, it would mean that we have a wider and more rich, diverse pool of talent whom we can welcome into our organization. And like I said, this kind of design and innovation and culture benefits everyone and not just our employees with disabilities. Um, and I think this is our kind of North Star across the company. It is kind of led and fueled by our Center of Excellence team, whom you're going to meet shortly. But this is what kind of embodies what we believe in and what we kind of bring. Okay, should we go to the video?
This is part of the Accenture Inclusion and Diversity agenda. We want all Accenture employees to interact with technology that is accessible regardless of your functional diversity.
Working in such a diverse team is very rewarding for me. According to the disabilities that each member of the team has. I have learned to value as well as raise awareness to create a more accessible world.
Disability is a good example. It's a dream come true for me because we are working on several tools to make accessible for people with disabilities.
When we talk about accessibility, we really are talking about talent, how to retain talented people, how to retain skilled people, how to get skilled people for continue working in our programs, in our projects, for our customers.
For me to work with people with disability is a great opportunity to see how we can interact with the technology and how we can make it accessible to improve the life of the others. Each day is different and each day I learn something new.
We have to join technology and accessibility and understand this as a one part to offer to our client.
We see accessibility as an opportunity to innovate and improve technology usability for everyone at Accenture.
I hope everyone could actually see that. It was kind of a little bit choppy for me, but of course the link is available in case you all want to see it later. The one thing I wanted to do now is quickly talk about a report that we just released yesterday, which is our Getting to Equal 2020 Disability Inclusion Report. And there's good news here. The team that did the research identified 8 factors that, workplace factors, I should say, that unlock inclusivity. One is clear role models. Second, being employee resource groups. The third being parental leave. The fourth, fair and transparent pay. The fifth, training. Sixth, flexible working options. 7, freedom to innovate. And 8, mental well-being policies. And when I saw this, I was greatly heartened because, you know, this is applicable to everybody, you know, anyone who's in the workforce. It's a, you know, me, you, everyone. And I think organizations who have kind of, you know, taken a serious look at some of these things for employee base as a whole are probably ahead in terms of being able to, you know, invite and create more disability inclusion and inclusion across various other, you know, areas of diversity, including LGBT communities or, you know, any other kind of, you know, diversity factor. So this has been really greatly heartening. I just wanted to also probably paste that, you know, link of the report into the chat window in case anybody wants to kind of read it. I'm hoping the organizers can do that. So that is the second aspect of how we sort of, you know, create inclusion for our own people. And we talked about how our employees are so kind of enthusiastic about volunteering with missing maps, and we harness that passion. And now I want to bring you to a story where we are harnessing their skills, their commercial business skills, to impact in a very positive way some of the ways in which our partnerships are conducting their programs in the world. And so if we go into the next slide, this is about Leonard Cheshire, which is a pan-disability organization headquartered out of the UK. And Accenture and Leonard Cheshire have been working for the last 10 years. And we've been helping them in their access to livelihoods venture, which is to basically get persons with disabilities into the workforce by making sure that they're getting, you know, employability skills, sector-specific skills, and to be able to then also have soft skills that makes them valued employees for, you know, for companies that they work in. Now, we worked in this alongside colleagues who were providing hardcore business consulting services to Leonard Cheshire. So what was really the issue? So Leonard Cheshire has a very intensive, labor-intensive and face-to-face intensive approach. Well, I mean, it's natural that that's how it was, and now it has evolved. And this was even pre-pandemic, so I feel like we were a little bit prescient in terms of saying that how could we digitize the learning pathways and the livelihoods pathways for persons with disabilities, so that, you know, they could be anywhere and be kind of availing of all of the opportunity without having to travel to a specific place to get a particular, you know, training curriculum or a module complete. So last year is when we worked on this with them. The main issue was the first touch point, which was where a person with disability comes to get registered and assessed as the first entry point into that whole employability pathway. And Leonard Cheshire realized that they were losing a lot of people because people were getting kind of quite weary about, you know, having to travel 4 hours or whatever into a particular location. And in Bangalore, you know, a 4-hour travel is not unheard of, even if, you know, the distance is quite short. And for a person with disability, it's even more hard because there is, you know, public transport is not that great, as we know. And the idea was to convert this registration and assessment touch point into a virtual one, so that persons with disabilities could just pretty much sit at their desktop wherever they are, or even on a mobile phone, and be able to kind of, you know, undertake this and be able to, you know, and who don't then drop out. So we created the minimum value proposition for this particular tool. we're using Bangalore as the kind of test base for it and for the development of it. And of course, we use the Washington group questions, which are really, really useful about disability. And the tool basically captures, basic information about and basic profile, education, qualifications, the interests in terms of where they want to work, what they see as their kind of, strong points. And essentially, it has helped actually reduce the time. So it's down from 4 hours of travel to minutes online, which is fantastic, and 95% completion without having anybody kind of drop off the radar and disappear. So what's the kind of impact that we've actually had with this? And that's on the next slide. So this was, as I said, we kind of developed this in the India context, and our friends from Accenture Development Partnerships, who provide low bono consulting services, and us partnered really closely. And you saw the quote earlier, which is about, nothing about us without us. And that has been kind of the cornerstone of this entire development. So there were iterative sessions where users were asked to provide feedback, fairly detailed feedback, and those would be reflected in the kind of sprints towards creating a MVP, which was acceptable and which mirrored the reality and which actually were co-created genuinely with the people that we were looking to help. So what's happened thus far? So India launched in November of last year, just before the pandemic. And these user numbers are basically just preliminary. They are growing as we speak. Based on the success of this in India, the team also kind of took it to Bangladesh and to the Philippines. And you'll see both Bangladesh and Philippines happen right in the middle of the pandemic. And therefore you see that, they are still kind of building up and consolidating on the acceptability of this there. And Leonard Cheshire's plan is to just sort of continue to improve this, make it 100% pan disability friendly. And very importantly, to create it as a tool which can plug and play across various contexts and scenarios, not just on their portal or not just in a particular kind of context. So that is what we did with Leonard Cheshire, and I think this harnesses our employees' ingenuity and skills in a totally different sort of way. That is where I want to kind of stop. Oh, I got 5 minutes left, so I don't have anything more to say except that, again, thank you, and I hope the rest of the sessions can build upon this, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks again to the team for inviting me.
Thank you, Rosny. What a fantastic talk. And despite a little bit technical difficulties, it doesn't mean that, it's really wonderful activity from the Accenture team, and that's was an incredible opener. And we really can thank enough for all of you volunteering activity and your time and spending it with all of us today. How's everyone? Excited yet? We're just getting started. So we have, like I said, we have a lot of incredible talks, and this one